to the 2018 FIFA World Cup. You're watching FS1.
Expectations, although intangible, can weigh heavily on the shoulders of those who carry them. In 2016, Chicago finally lived up to their expectations.
The Cubs win the World Series!
But after failing to repeat in 2017, the former champs are ready to make another title run.
Everybody here is hungry for another World Series. Everybody's ready.
That one is gone.
In Milwaukee, expectations are sky high for the Brewers.
Now it's Braun who swings and launches. That's his way back. And that is the banger. Wow.
After missing out in the postseason last year, Milwaukee expects their revamped lineup to carry them into October this season.
I feel like it's being a part of this group. I feel like I can add to it and hopefully put them over the hump.
It's Cubs Brewers next on FS1.
Brewers and Cubs, and there is Lorenzo Cain, 1 for 9, facing Yu Darvish. That's what he will do today. Brewers coming off a walk-off win last night, and they will face the Cubs and Ian Happ, who against the Brewers last 6 games hit pretty well. 375, scored 5 runs, hit a home run on the first pitch of the year, did Happ. Cubs Brewers coming your way in 33 minutes on FS1 as we welcome you to the MLB on FS1 pregame show, sponsored by the Lincoln Motor Company. Good to see you. Come on in. Big Hurt, the Hall of Famer, Frank Thomas is here. EK, Eric Karros is here. And I'm Kevin Burkhardt. Big day of baseball coming your way. So, EK, what you got your eye on for us?
I'm watching the Milwaukee Brewers and what happens at the end of the game. Corey Knebel out for 4 to 6 weeks because of a hamstring issue. Craig Counsell, he's got a lot of options, but still, it's not Corey Knebel.
And for me, I got my eyes on Anthony Rizzo. A potential back injury. This is the second straight day out of the lineup. Huge void in the middle of that lineup if he's out because he's protection with Chris Bryant. They need their captain on the field if they're going to continue to win. They're 3 and 4 out of the gate. They cannot afford to have him on the shelf.
Yeah, one of those.
How can you watch Rizzo if he's not playing?
Well, hey,
he's going to watch him on the bench.
Oh,
make sure, I'm going to monitor him, make sure he's okay. I got to monitor him to make sure he's okay. Huge loss for them.
They have a Nest Cam in the Cubs dugout today. That's how we're going to check it out. Speaking of one of those losses to the Cubs, one of them occurred last night in Milwaukee. Brewers got a walk-off win. Orlando Arcia singling right here off Mike Montgomery in the bottom of the 9th to win it. And that evens his 4-game series at 1 game apiece. 2 walk-off wins for the Brewers already. They only had 2 all of last year. Over in Anaheim, rookie Shohei Ohtani. Shohei.
Oh, my gosh.
3rd straight game with a home run for Ohtani. Angels were down 6-0 in this game. They got a late homer from Justin Upton, and they won it 13-9. So, talking about home runs this year, the fewest in the league, Ohtani actually has as many or more by himself as 5 of the teams in Major League Baseball. Frank Thomas, I know this because I've worked with you a lot already this year. You are a believer in this man.
I'm a believer. I've been a believer since spring training. Everyone wanted to send this guy back to the minors. He made a small adjustment, put the front foot, get it down a little bit earlier, and now that sweet, fluid swing that he has, it's amazing. This guy's power to all fields, and also he's pitching. Right now, he's a league MVP. And that's saying a lot in 7 games, but this guy has won out and won his first start and has hit 3 home runs in 3 consecutive games. What rookie has come in and done this in the last 15, 20 years?
So there's an award for an MVP in the first 7 days, and that's called Player of the Week, right? I mean, look, I am as shocked as anybody to see this kind of power and success at the plate. The pitching thing, look, you're throwing 100, that's going to translate. That's going to work. But the whole idea of him coming out and having the success that he's had, the early success, I am surprised. I saw him in spring training. I feel like when they start throwing balls inside, he's going to have to make an adjustment. These pitches, all of them, they've either been off speed or out over the plate. And I believe that other teams in spring training, they see, oh, man, he didn't have a good spring training. So, we're going to worry about him, but we're not going to really focus on him. He's not going to get cookies anymore. People are going to go, we got to pitch to this guy a certain way. We got to go after him. And I don't see the hitting.
Well,
I just don't see.
He's only hitting 3 days a week, and then he goes back to back to back with home runs.
I agree. It's a shocker.
You got to shake your head and say, wow, I've never seen anything like this. And then go out the next day and pitch.
I've never seen anything like this.
6 innings, 6 strikeouts, throwing 100 miles an hour.
I agree.
This guy's amazing.
So I'm not saying, as a fan, I hope the heck he's successful because it's fun to watch.
It's great for baseball.
I love this. I hope he's successful. I just don't know how you're going to hit an inside fastball with that swing. I don't know how that's going to happen.
Anaheim, Disney World in the afternoon, Shohei at night. What entertainment they got in Anaheim right now.
Frank is just hoping somehow that his Shohei chant makes it to the stadium.
That is
Because if it does...
How does that go again?
Shohei, 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 Shohei.
It's great. It's pretty good, I have to say. And Frank's talking about on the mound. He won his first start, pitched really well. He's pitching again tomorrow in Anaheim. It is great for the game. We'll see if he can keep it up and continue on the success he's had so far. Highlights around the league today. Orioles and the Yankees. Sonny Gray trying to get the Yankees going here. Lost in extra innings last night. Manny Machado, think he likes sitting in the Bronx. That one is going to get down. 2-run score. 6th inning, Yankees up. This is Romine. Pops this up. Davis. Yikes. Tough play. Couldn't hang on. Run comes in to score.
Second baseman's got to call him off there. You want your second baseman making that play. What you think, EK?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of glove on that right there. And I guarantee you, he's talking to himself, knows he should have caught that.
Rays and Red Sox. Red Sox are on fire. First inning, they're down 2-1. Xander Bogaerts, who's getting extra base hits like every other time up, has another one here off Jake Faria. That is going to score a couple. And the Red Sox jump in front. More Xander Bogaerts. He's already got 8 extra base hits coming into this at-bat. And EK, this is going to be number 9. Bang!
Bam is right. And so remember, 2 years ago, when you talked about the young elite shortstops in baseball, Carlos Correa, others, he was in that mix. Last year, an off year. Alex Cora came in this year, said, you are one of the top guys in the big leagues. Let's get back to that. He showed some confidence, and oh, man, is he starting
Did he have the hand last year, too? Missed some time, so he's off to a great start. J.D. Martinez was off to a slow start, but this his first home run as a Red Sox.
And this is probably the biggest hit of the day because once this guy gets going, the rest of his lineup, watch out, New York Yankees.
All right, I know you guys are going to like this. Anthony Rendon, this was a little much for him. Steven Matz pitching, gets a call, strike 3. Just upset. This is the first time, right? Okay. So
And it's really not that bad of a pitch, though, right? That's
right there. It's right there. So he goes back. It didn't seem like there's any words there with home plate umpire Marty Foster. Then 3rd inning up against Matz again. I mean, similar pitch. Gets rung up. Flips the bat. No words.
Well, I think this pitch was a little worse. But flipping the bat, sometimes the umpire, I think he's showing him up.
Well, he got rung up. And then, Frank, your boy, Davey Martinez, is going to come out and let him have it.
And I love this because Davey's very fiery. And he's endeared himself to the clubhouse today because this is the way you protect your players, especially when an umpire, he never said anything to the umpire.
Watch the hat. Bam.
Get your money's worth, Davey. Get your money's worth. I love it.
But you know what was tough, though? He started trying to kick dirt on the plate. There was no dirt going onto the plate. You're going to have to work on that.
Honestly, almost twisted an ankle on that one. Bryce Harper, Oppo.
You know what that is, KB? That Brinks truck just backing up for this offseason.
That would actually be multiple Brinks trucks backing up in the offseason. So that's that. By the way, Harper's 5th of the year. Mets have that lead, though, in that one. All right, we come back. More highlights. Red Hot Diamondbacks taking on the Cardinals. And then who's the bigger surprise? The Braves or the Pirates? Didn't think we'd be talking about them this second week of the season, but we are. EK and Frank weigh in next. Don't forget, 2016 World Champs. They fell short of their bid to repeat last season. They fell to the Dodgers in the NLCS. And the Cubs tell us what they learned from that disappointment. You got Eric Thames. He is trying to hit one out today and get the Brewers another win over the Cubbies. That game coming your way on FS1 in 25 minutes.
Do not mistake serenity for weakness. Do not misjudge quiet tranquility for the power of 335 turbocharged horses. The Lincoln MKX, more horsepower than the Lexus RX 350, and a quiet interior from which to admire them.
The Lincoln Spring Sales Event is here. For a limited time, get 0% APR on the Lincoln MKX. Hurry in today to your Lincoln dealer.
Shoes off! Belts off!
That's why I wear Skechers slip-on shoes. They're comfortable, and they slip on and off easily as well.
Hey, you're Tony Romo.
I am.
You still gotta lose the belt. Come on.
Slip in comfort with Skechers slip-ons.
Hands go here. Feet go here. You know what goes here. And your approval rating goes here. Test drive the Z-Track Z540R at your John Deere dealer today.
Driving a race car is like dancing with a chainsaw. Kelly Yarborough. I love it. I love to dance.
The O'Reilly Auto Parts 500 from Texas, tomorrow on FS1.
We don't have long. It's coming.
Legion, all new Tuesday at 10 on FX. To watch previous episodes, download FX now.
Here's the thing about this game. It doesn't matter who you are, how big, or how small. It doesn't matter where you live or where you come from. It's everyone's game.
That is nice. I'm 40, Joseph. Yeah!
If you want to play, you can play. Your team's waiting at playball.org.
Here's how Old Dominion puts together a winning performance. It takes precision, like how we're #1 in claims prevention. It takes hustle, like our over 99% on-time rate. And it takes consistently going the distance to earn our fans' loyalty. That's why we're #1 in customer satisfaction. Old Dominion, official freight carrier of Major League Baseball.
I pity you today. You're in big trouble.
Undisputed, weekdays on FS1.
MLB pregame on FS1 is sponsored by the Lincoln Motor Company.
Well, the best dancer on the team is Jeremy Jeffers. He dances to every rap song, hip-hop song.
Best dance moves, probably JJ or, surprisingly, Brent Suter. They've had a few dance-offs. JJ's a little bit more smooth. Suter kind of brings the off-the-wall stuff.
I think the most stylish on the team would be probably Ryan Brown. He's got nice clothes. He loves to come to the field looking good and tries to look better than a lot of the guys.
The best hair, Travis Shaw. That's how you wear it.
I would like to say hater, long hair, yeah.
I'll give that to Arcia. His hair looks, I think it's white or blonde now. He always like to keep it clean.
Zach Davies getting the call today for the Brewers. They would like to have one of their pitchers go 6 innings. It's only happened once on the year, so maybe Zach Davies, who was close last time, maybe he can do it here today. The Brewers and the Cubs coming up. But first, highlights more of them around the league today. Diamondbacks 6-1 on the year. Top 3, we are tied at 1. Chris Owings, it's going to be a base hit. Pollock's going to come on in, make it 2-1 Arizona. Bottom 3, Zach Greinke in trouble. Jose Martinez can hit.
Happy feet. Man, maybe watch this guy in the box. He moves around more than any guy I've seen in a long time, but he can flat out hit.
Remember, Zach Greinke was a concern in spring training. Not a good start today.
Yeah, they could use him, even though the rest of the staff has been good. Michael Fulmer pitching for the Tigers in a jam. He's going to get Moncada to ground out and get out of the bases loaded deal in the second inning. In the third, this is good to see for Tigers fans. Remember Cabrera had that hip thing left early the other day in the cold? Well, he's back at it.
Well, he's been constant all spring. The 330 guy's back this year for the Tigers.
Mariners and the Twins. Jose Barrios threw a complete game gem, his first outing of the year. This one is the opposite. However, it's the coldest game in Target Field history. It's 26 in Minnesota. 26 in Minnesota today. Kyle Seager. Didn't really matter to him. He's got a bomb, and then D. Gordon.
Oh, gotta love that. Was that 2 RBIs, infield in?
It's a Luis Gonzalez special.
There you go.
Money in the middle.
That's what that is. but it worked 5-0. All right, time now for hit and run. Put a little time on the clock. We'll go a little rapid fire here, thus the catchy term hit and run. Get it? That's what we're trying to do. More surprising EKs in the start so far, the Braves or the Pirates?
The Braves for me. I did not expect the offense at all. They're leading all of baseball in runs, slugging percentage, on-base percentage. You know, those household names, Preston Tucker and Ryan Flaherty.
Exactly. Frank?
For me as the Pirates, losing Andrew McCutchen and Garrett Cole, and this team had come out 6-1. The other guys are stepping up, pulling the weight in the weight room right now, and on the field. I like the Pirates.
In the American League East, is it the Red Sox or the Yankees that are going to win the division?
I'm going to go with the Red Sox. Line drives will travel 1 through 9. These guys can hit, you know, and they have the best 1-2 punch in baseball, Selling Price.
Yeah, I agree. When you talk about who's going to compete with Houston in the American League, it's the Red Sox. Too athletic. Alex Cora doing a nice job, and Xander Bogaerts. We talked about it earlier in the show. My man is swinging it.
Oh, extra base hit machine right now. How about in the National League East? Is it the defending champion Nationals, or can the Mets make a run here?
The Mets, I mean, they're vulnerable just because of health, not only pitching, but on the field as well. Nationals, for me. I mean, that team is just too deep, and they're doing it without Daniel Murphy at second base right now.
I know it's early, but I'm calling this a 2-team race. Mets, Nationals. Right now, I'm going to go with the Nationals because I need to see the Mets starting pitching staff to pitch at least 25 games each starter. If that happens, the Mets could easily win this division, but there's a lot to be desired right now. Let's just play it out.
Right, well, that's the issue. It hasn't happened for them, so we'll see if they can change it. Jake Arrieta, his first start as a Philly tomorrow. Frank, what are we expecting from Arrieta?
Just an ace. The guy goes out, even when he has his bad stuff, he pitches 6 innings. So, Gabe Kapler, hold on. Let him pitch at least 6 or 7 innings because, you know, Jake's a bulldog, and they need that ace on the top of that staff.
I think a home start. He's going against the Marlins. The adrenaline is going to be flowing. I think this has all the makings of a very, very nice start.
How about the best nickname in the game today, Big Hurt?
It's easy. Noah Syndergaard. Thor. I mean, this guy is a beast.
I'm going the anti-Thor right now. There is no better name than the big, sexy Bartolo Colon.
Big Bart doing his thing. By the way, I think as we look at him, now that is...
I mean, that is a big sexy right there, boys.
He's been around a long time, man. Still throwing strikes.
I think he's got the best start of the Rangers season so far, as a matter of fact. So there you go. And speaking of nicknames, actually got a question for one of our analysts here. Let's give it a listen.
Hey, Frank, it's Chris Davis. I was wondering where you got the nickname The Big Hurt. I wore 35 growing up, had the cleats, didn't have the stance or the skill set, but I was a big fan, and I'm just curious to where you got that name, who dubbed you The Big Hurt.
Oh, it's an easy one. My main man, Hawk Harrelson. First year in Chicago, I was hitting line drives. He said, that's a big man, he's hurting the baseball. So he put it on me, The Big Hurt.
There you go. How about Chris Davis? I didn't know Chris was a big Frank Thomas fan.
He's got a great nickname, too, Crush.
I know. Listen, reality, who isn't a Frank Thomas fan, right?
No, I hear you, man. The Big Hurt. The Reebok commercials back in the day.
Thanks, CK. The hot tops.
Frank has other commercials today. I don't know if you've seen them.
Yeah, the new Jags. Hey.
Looking out for the older guys, that's all.
Hey, trying to take care of everybody. Frank Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. Hall of Famer. Cubs made history back in 2016. We all saw it, but it's been a long road back to at least the very top. Up next, we hear why this year's team feels like it is ready again to be champions. Chris Bryant hoping to spearhead that. Bryant trying to do his thing. Get the Cubs, who are off to a sluggish start here at 3-4, get them wrong. See if they can do it. Coming up.
Give us the work no one else wants to do. We don't just go against the grain. We grow it. Give us the frontiers, the places where success is measured and pushed limits. Give us the middle of nowhere, where the only map is your buddy's tread marks. This life, no one's born ready for it.
Enjoy the new Sourdough King, made with a toasted sourdough bun, 2 flame-grilled patties, melted American cheese, and crispy bacon. Get the new meaty, cheesy, toasted Sourdough King, or the breakfast sourdough sandwiches, only at Burger King.
You wouldn't accept an incomplete job from anyone else. Why accept it from your allergy pills? Flonase relieves your worst symptoms, including nasal congestion, which most pills don't. Flonase helps block 6 key inflammatory substances. Most pills only block 1. Flonase.
Can you feel it?
You're connected to the World Cup. It's in your DNA. You may not have visited the country, but we're all connected to a World Cup nation. So this summer, root for your roots. Watch the FIFA World Cup on Fox. And let Fox broadcast sponsor 23andMe help you find your team.
Now available to buy or rent on DirecTV Cinema.
What did you do this weekend?
Nothing very interesting. He said the age of heroes would never come again.
I'll take it from here.
Ride ain't over yet.
This isn't the plan.
No, Master Wayne. This is the team.
Justice League. Buy or rent it today with DirecTV Cinema. Browse movies at channel 1100.
Hi, I'm Ty Pennington. I'm traveling around the country talking to people about their mortgage experience and the guaranteed rate difference.
We were dating for about 10 months before he was deployed.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your service, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. After I got back from deployment, I was speaking with military buddies, and they all, recommended using the VA loan.
What did you guys love about guaranteed rate?
They have the digital mortgage, which was so helpful for us.
I was able to sign documents on my phone with the mobile app, and I was like, well, this is awesome.
Guaranteed rate did get us our dream home.
Guaranteed rate. Our difference makes all the difference.
You better believe it. Wow. What a way to win. Expect anything different?
Be sure to catch MLB Whip Around weeknights 11 Eastern on FS1, featuring updates of in-progress games. On Monday, we'll take a look at the high-scoring Braves taking on Bryce Harper and the Nationals. Also, Noah Syndergaard looking to shut down the Marlins. That and a whole lot more. Travis Shaw, 6 RBIs on the young season, tied for the team lead. Brewers looking to take down the Cubs for the second straight day, coming on up on FS1. And hey, with all the celebration surrounding the Cubs' memorable run to the title in 2016, it seemed almost impossible that magic would repeat itself. And you know what? Indeed, their attempt at another championship last season fell short. And as our John Morosi found out, many of the Cubs had a pretty good idea why.
The hangover effect, it's unbelievable. It is real and it's tangible.
They don't care because they won last year.
Maybe they skipped a step and took it a little bit for granted.
When you look back to last year, Chris, how real was the notion of a World Series hangover for the Cubs in 2017?
We certainly felt it. I mean, there's no lie. I mean, it is easy to peg that as an excuse, when you don't start off the first half the way you want to, and I think that's a lot of what we did.
No matter what you really do, the high that you come off of winning a World Series, trying to have that same passion, that same grind to get after it, it's just tough to do.
It's kind of unexplainable, but games in April just aren't as big as they were the year before. We were running on E for a long period there, and it just wasn't the same.
Obviously, there is no excuses because every year our team goes through it. We just couldn't go anymore. We gave everything we had.
The wait is over. The Dodgers are going back to the World Series.
The Dodgers completely and thoroughly dismantled the Chicago Cubs.
When you played the Dodgers in the NLCS last fall, was that a reminder of just how hard it is to get to where you got in 2016?
100%. It puts it all into perspective, and it just shows there's such a fine line, between winning and losing when you get to that high of a level in October. I think using all of that and learning about ourselves will really help us this year.
I don't think that we ever gave up. I think they outplayed us. I just remember going off the field like, it wasn't supposed to end here. I also remember, this isn't going to happen next year.
For so long, the Cubs' identity was chasing that World Series. Do you think it's taken some time to reform what this team is all about?
It has. We were in every moment last year. It just wasn't the same. Having an off season like we just had to relax, I think no one's satisfied, and we're ready to get back to the top.
How would you describe the unique energy that you now have around this team in 2018?
Revitalized is a word that I'd like to use. It's not all about one player or a couple players, we're all in.
Everybody here is hungry for another World Series. Everybody's ready.
You can feel the renewed energy, the renewed passion for that drive, and to really be there and win the last game of the year.
Well, in 2016, Cubs got off to a great start. 6-1, they're feeling good. Last year, they got off to a decent start, too. This year, a little bit slower. What does it all mean? I mean, who knows? we'll find out in June, July maybe, right? But, you know, so the Cubs feel like their mindset, as you saw in that piece, maybe better this year to kind of get back there. But what is their biggest challenge, kind of getting back to the top of the mountain for them?
You know, I think it's themselves and that motivation factor. You look at 2016, that is a time where the Cubs are picked, and something they hadn't done in 100 years, get to a World Series, let alone win a World Series. And so that's something that continues to drive them, right? They win the World Series. Well, so where is that now? And I think that Theo Epstein, he realized that. And that's why there's a new first base coach, a new third base coach, a new hitting coach, and a new pitching coach. I mean, that's not because all of those guys are no longer good baseball men, but it's because there has to be a different message. There has to be a different mindset, because what drove them in 2016 no longer exists. They won the World Series. They're kings of Chicago for life. Now, how are they going to get back?
First of all, you can't live in the past. Baseball is year to year. But the biggest key for this team, they got to hit. You can't start the season 5 games, 58 strikeouts. They're too talented 1 through 8. They got a new hitting coach. They got to buy into what he's selling. They need to put the ball in play because they're that talented and take the pressure off their pitching staff. If they do that, this team will win a lot of ball games this year. But you can't live in the past and talk about 2016. That is over.
But you know what, though? I think, though, 2016, though, one of the things that drove them, well, yes, a very talented club, but was that we're going to be the first Cubs team to win a World Series in 100. That's some serious motivation. It's not there anymore.
It's an interesting point. It's one thing. It's one thing to win a World Series and then do it again. It's one of the greatest sports stories of all time. How do you top that? I think it's a really interesting point. See if they can get back to that point. So meanwhile, while they're trying to do that, who is going to be the biggest challenger in the division? Is it going to be the Cardinals or the Brewers? Pick one.
You know what? I just saw this 6-1 start by the Pirates and 6-1 with the Cubs a few years ago. I think it's a 4-team race. I was going to say 3. It's a 4-team race.
Help me out.
Brewers, Cardinals, Pirates. They're all going to be in it to win it. It's going to be a tough division this year.
So
I'm going to give you one team, Brewers. Kane and Yelich additions, they're going to compete for that division.
Pitching, all right. Pitching's key. I don't know. Losing Knebel's really going to hurt them for 6 weeks. They got to go out and make a move if they're going to pitch their way to a championship.
Brewers. Frank's all in on the NL Central. Pirates off to a great start. Speaking of pitching, Darvish not had a good start. His first one in Miami. Can he do better today? We'll find out. BA, Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder with a call after the break. See ya.
This is what I feel like when I wear regular shoes. Cramped and uncomfortable.
Mr. Long, you've been upgraded.
Which is why I wear Skechers wide-fit shoes. It's like first class for your feet. Try Skechers wide-fit with air-cooled memory foam.
Looking good.
At Booking.com, we can't guarantee you'll be good at that water jet thingy, but we can guarantee the best price on this hotel or any accommodation from homes to yurts. Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
See the new movie Rampage on April 13th and play the new arcade game only at Dave & Buster's.
Don't miss Scott's Days at your local Ace.
Our biggest lawn and garden sale of the spring.
Right now, buy any bag of Scott's fertilizer and get a free $5 reward. Hurry in for great deals throughout the store. Right now at Ace.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
When the captain's away.
Your flight today will be lacking a certain je ne sais Dave. That's French for moi.
The crew will play.
Oh, hey, guys, guess what we just did?
I will not.
LA to Vegas, all new Tuesday on Fox.
Give us the work no one else wants to do. We don't just go against the grain. We grow it. Give us the frontiers, the places where success is measured and pushed limits. Give us the middle of nowhere, where the only map is your buddy's tread marks. This life, no one's born ready for it.
You spray. You're stuck. You're gold. Smell fresh all day with new Axe Gold Body Spray.
There was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people to help save the universe from paying too much on their car insurance.
Hey, there's cake in the break room. What are you doing?
Nothing.
Marvel Studios' Avengers Infinity War. In theaters April 27th.
Now, where were we?
Hands go here. Feet go here. You know what goes here. And your approval rating goes here. Test drive the Z-Track Z540R at your John Deere dealer today.
Driving a race car is like dancing with a chainsaw. Kelly Yarborough. I love to dance.
The O'Reilly Auto Parts 500, tomorrow on FS1.
It's a Saturday afternoon in Milwaukee. The tailgating is fine today. It's cold, but they're out there having fun in the sun. Roof is all closed up as we're ready for Game 3. It's the Brewers and the Cubs from Miller Park. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park. Great to have you with us on Fox Sports Wisconsin and all of our friends watching on FS1 as well. I'm Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Sophia Minnaert is our reporter here today. Well, the Milwaukee Brewers have had a knack for the dramatic. How about 5 wins thus far, Rock? 4 of them have come in their final at-bat.
And again, 2 walk-off wins here at Miller Park. They had 4 all of last year. A couple of walk-off wild pitches and a couple of home runs last year. Well, Ryan Braun doing what he does. Tuesday night, the big home run, following it up Yelich's homer. And then last night, Orlando Arcia, 2-strike, 2-out base hit, drops one into right field. You know, the offense, it's okay to get it late. It's better late than never because the Brewers have been facing some very good starting pitching, and it doesn't get any easier today. Yu Darvish, the marquee free agent amongst the starters this year. The Cubs able to land him. He's a 4-time All-Star. And when Darvish has his game going, he can be very tough. The Brewers faced him 1 time last year as a member of the Dodgers. He struggled a little bit in his first start against Miami.
Darvish pitched well against the Cubs in the NLCS last year. His mound opponent will be Zach Davies. Only Clayton Kershaw had more wins last year than Zach Davies, and he's been good against the Chicago Cubs. That sets the stage. We're ready to roll. It's the I-94 rivalry, and it's coming up next from Milwaukee.
Evacuations are underway as a meteor heads toward the metro area.
We can fit more. But there's still more room.
We gotta go.
Juicer!
We don't have a juicer.
The Volkswagen Tiguan. It fits everything you need and everything you don't.
A little help. Any help, dude? Brad, are you watching?
Nothing comes before coffee.
My glasses are fogging. Dude, are you mad at me?
That's why we've got a whole line of espresso drinks from McCafe. Cafe quality from beans to espresso machines. Try the new chocolatey caramel iced turtle macchiato.
Looking swole, man. I felt swollen. Swole, not swollen. What?
If you told me a year ago where I'd be right now, I would have said you were crazy. But so began the year of me. I discovered the true meaning of paperless discounts and the indescribable rush of saving drivers an average of $620.
Why does fear feel so good?
I fell in love 3 times. Once with a woman, once with a country, and finally, with myself.
So do you have anything to declare or not?
Isn't that what I'm doing?
So it's an extra 5% off on all this?
Yep, all this.
The moment you realize you can save big, even on the small stuff.
You get an extra 5% off every day on items big or small with your Lowe's Advantage card.
You don't just drink Budweiser. You clench it. You spill it. You spray it. You sacrifice it to the foul ball gods. And pile it on. You buy a round of it for the bar. Wait, the whole bar?
The whole bar.
You raise it to your city, your team, your family. Wherever legendary moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And before every sip comes a moment worth celebrating.
As people who love the outdoors, we know what we stand for. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we stand together for you. Come in today for great deals and our Dog Days family event.
Well, the Cubs and the Brewers going at it again at Miller Park. Orlando Arcia had the walk-off yesterday. How about 8 of the last 12 games decided by 2 or fewer runs between these two teams in this venue? Last year they played a series. The first 3 games of the series were extra inning affairs. Came right down to the wire last night. Joe Madden and the Chicago Cubs ready for game 3. He has changed up his lineup once again. He's got Ian Happ leading off, the switch hitting center fielder, Chris Bryant, then Kyle Schwarber. And in the middle goes Contreras, Stella, and Caratini. Jason Hayward, Javi Baez, and Yu Darvish rounding out the Potawatomi Cubs batting order this afternoon against Zach Davies. All the pieces in place. We're ready to play ball in Milwaukee. And Davies delivers. Happ fouls it away. And off we go.
Yeah, 11 start against the Cubs for Zach Davies, a .390 earned run average. He's 5-4. Somewhat scuffled his last time out, or his first start against the Cardinals here at Miller Park. All about fastball command for Zach Davies. Has to be much better. The Brewers need some innings out of him today.
Davies has made 10 career starts against the Cubs. 7 of those have been quality starts. 6 innings or more, 3 runs or fewer designates a quality start. Davies made his big league debut in September of 15. And since that point, if you use that as a line of demarcation, no pitcher has more quality starts against the Cubs than Zach Davies. And with a beat up bullpen for both teams, really, the way it went yesterday, both teams went into their bullpen early. The Brewers started with their bullpen run in the 4th inning yesterday. Craig Counsell is hopeful that Davies can go extended here this afternoon. We shall see.
Well, Zach able to eat up 5 2/3 against the Cardinals. 5th and 6th innings gave him problems. Some bad location in those 2 innings got him.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Ian Happ, just starting the ball game, and down he goes. Happ has been striking out a lot here. And Madden still searching for that everyday leadoff man, but Davies starts it with a K.
Yeah, let's check out the defense that Craig Counsell's throwing out there today. Braun, Kane, Santana, same outfield as yesterday. You got Shaw, Arcia, VR, and Thames up the middle. The only change to the starting lineup, Jet Bandy getting a start behind home plate today.
In there for Manny Pena, sharing the catching duties, those two. Here is Chris Bryant, and Davies misses outside. Feels good inside Miller Park. It is cold outside Miller Park, unseasonably cold, as a matter of fact. Temperatures last night got down into the teens with a wind chill in the single digits in Milwaukee on April 6th. But inside Miller Park, it is climate controlled, and the sun splashing through here. It feels great. These players are very happy to be playing an early April series in the upper Midwest.
Yeah.
In the confines of Miller Park with the roof all closed up.
Probably a couple of games in this homestand that might not have been played had it not been for the roof.
Expecting a sellout or a near sellout today as fans still finding their way inside Miller Park. Great tailgating scene outside Miller Park today. Hardy fans here in Milwaukee, and a lot of Cubs fans who are visiting Miller Park as well. Always a great setting. Great to get the baseball season going once again. Cubs have began the year 3-4. Brewers are 5-3, with 4 of those wins, as we mentioned, coming in their final at bat of the season, and 2 of those are walk-offs. Both Ryan Braun and Orlando Arcia have 2 apiece.
Well, they've run into some pretty good pitching on this homestand, so I guess, you know, late offense better than none. It's been dramatic.
Bryant draws the walk, and the Cubs with a base runner. A 1-out base runner for Chicago. Davies will face Kyle Schwarber now. Rock, still no Anthony Rizzo in the starting lineup for the Cubs.
Yeah, tight back. He was scratched from yesterday's lineup. And it's always good not to have to deal with that guy in the middle of the Cubs batting order.
Addison Russell, who's next to him there, is getting the day off as well as Javi Baez makes his first start of the season. Joe Maddon did say he hopes Rizzo will be back in there tomorrow. Feels like it is a day-to-day thing, nothing serious. Very similar to what the Brewers have with Christian Yelich. Yelich not available today either for the Brewers. He is dealing with an oblique injury. So Rizzo and Yelich just a little dinged up to start the season, but neither player on the disabled list. So with Rizzo out, Schroeder occupies that spot in the batting order. Schroeder batting third, playing left field again today.
Yeah, Schroeder with a very rough day at the plate yesterday, 4 strikeouts. Back in there today, jump right back on the horse.
Schwarber does have 2 homers this year. He's driven in 3. Setting up inside, Bandy, and Schwarber fouls it away. We saw yesterday a terrific bullpen game. I thought yesterday, and for the Brewers, it was their 8th game of the year. For the Cubs, it was their 7th. I thought both managers played that game as if it was a playoff game or even a late pennant race, late season game.
Yeah, a lot of their big relievers going multiple innings. That's how bad, at least Craig Counsell wanted that game last night. You know, it's good. I mean, if you're the Brewers, I mean, you use those guys and you kind of like empty out the coffers. Last night in your bullpen, it's important to win those games. You don't want to do that. Use all of your winning scenario relievers in multiple innings and then lose.
Well, Joe Maddon played matchup often last night, trying to navigate his way through the 6th and the 7th innings. And the Brewers went the multi-inning route. There's a good change, and down goes Schwarber. A strikeout for Davies. That's a good sign early for Zach Davies. That's his bread and butter.
Well, let's check out the Pizza Ranch for the win. Yeah, today, well, they need innings out of Zach Davies today, no doubt. I mean, 6 innings minimum, and I think that's what Craig Counsell was looking for. It'd be nice to go 7. And better fastball location, kind of lost it as the game went on in his first start against the Cardinals.
2 outs. Here is Wilson Contreras. Had a hit last night, 1 out of 3. The Cubs catcher is 4 for his last 7. Contreras catching his 3rd game of this series. His backup is playing first base the last 2 days, Victor Caratini. A couple of doubles for Contreras. Chris Bryant, the runner at first, just underway from Miller Park. Zach Davies' tempo slows a bit when runners are on base. That's actually part of the plan for him. He's very quick to home plate. Bandy's got an extremely strong throwing arm. He's a tough guy to run on, but for Zach Davies, who does not have the big fastball, as quickly as he'll work in the windup, it's a little bit of the opposite end of the spectrum from the stretch.
Yep, and Chris Bryant not afraid to steal a base. Got to keep an eye on him. I mean, most pitchers are going to slow down a little bit with men on base. The more guys on, the slower the tempo. Don't want to make mistakes.
Nothing like speed to slow a game down, right? That's how it works in baseball. Davies knows it's imperative, though, to keep runners station to station as best he can. It doesn't apply in this scenario with 2 outs, but he is an extreme ground ball pitcher when he's right. And so he can really help himself out with double plays throughout the course of a game. So it's imperative that he pin that runner to first base as best he can. He does everything well, Davies. Everything you'd say about Kyle Hendricks of the Cubs, you'd say about Zach Davies.
Everything's calculated. I mean, thinks it through before he does it.
Fields his position well, quick to the plate, athletic, He's actually a pretty decent hitter, too. And that one's on the edge. 3 strikeouts to start the day for Zach Davies. Brewers are coming to bat. They'll face Darvish. We head to the bottom of the first.
Do your thing. Fulfill. Realize. Love. Not like. Be extraordinary. Turn off the highway and soar. Spread your wings. Mazda. Feel alive.
When you hear Domino's, you think pizza. But we're more than that. We're mouth-watering bread twists, oven-baked sandwiches, pastas, chicken, and pizza. Just $5.99 each when you order 2 or more. We didn't stop at pizza, and you don't have to either.
Our family plan with the other guys, it's a little, well...
It's obscene.
Pricey?
I know.
Pricey?
No, that's not for the child.
Maybe it's time to switch to something a little more family-friendly.
Switch to Boost and get 4 lines for only $25 per line, each with unlimited gigs. Plus, get up to 4 free Samsung J7 perks and enjoy 6 months of Hulu, where you can stream all the shows everyone is talking about.
Heck yeah!
Bumblebee.
Boost makes it easy to switch. Switching makes it easy to save.
We had long deployments in Iraq. Really grateful that USA was able to take care of my family while I was overseas serving.
It was my very first car accident. We were hit from behind. I called USAA, and the first thing they asked was, "Are you okay?" They always thank you for your service, which is nice because as a spouse, you serve too.
We're the Hells, and we're USAA members for life.
See how much you could save with USAA by bundling your auto and home insurance. Get a quote today.
Not all light beers are created equal. One is brewed with more taste, fewer calories, and half the carbs. What are you holding? Miller Lite. Hold true.
Underway at Miller Park, Craig Counsell and the Brewers trying to win their second of this series. This series is all even at 1 apiece. And Counsell's Potawatomi batting order looks like this today. Lorenzo Cain, Eric Thames, and Ryan Braun. In the middle of the order is Shaw, Santana, and VR, with Arcia, Bandy, and Davies rounding out the starting 9. Matching up against Darvish from the Rangers to the Dodgers last year. Signed a long-term free agent deal with the Cubs to begin 2018. Cain goes down the right field line, and the Gold Glover Jason Hayward runs it down. 1 pitch and 1 out for Darvish.
Yeah, Darvish, 6'5", 32 years old. His first year in the big leagues was 2012. He's a 4-time All-Star. All his All-Star appearances coming as an American leaguer. 4 1/3 his first time out against the Marlins. And 5 runs, 5 earned runs for Darvish. He said he really didn't have really good command within the strike zone that particular day.
Darvish signing a 6-year deal with the Chicago Cubs. Could take him to his age 38 season as he faces Eric Thames, and a spinner in there for a strike. Thames hit a key home run last night, 2-run homer that tied the game. Brewers were down 2-0 early before they posted 4 runs in the 5th inning, and there were a pair of 2-run homers. Eric Thames, and then 2 batters later, Travis Shaw.
Man, Thames is locked in. I mean, you see the batting average at 238, but he's swinging the bat much better than that. Got the big shift on for him.
Another breaking ball for a strike from Darvish.
Darvish likes that breaking pitch. Matter of fact, he's only going to throw strikes with the fastball if he has to. He likes to work the edges, gets it to chase with the fastball, and has a number of different off-speed pitches.
The 1-2 from Darvish, fouled away. Well, last night, Powerball home run number 2 for Eric Thames. And he went dead center. 2-run blast that tied the game at 2 in the 5th inning. Down the gauntlet he went on a retro Friday for the Brewers last night. Had the throwback unis on.
You know, that gauntlet a little bit dangerous for all the other guys that he You know, he comes in there pretty aggressive.
You got to make sure you're in a give situation there. You can't be pinned up against an Eric Thames.
Yeah, you got to be ready.
Trip.
You got to be ready for contact.
He's perfect for the WWE one day. Fights out with all foul. Talk about Thames and the batting average being low and started to get so far away from looking at batting average, right? OPS is such a better statistic to find out what kind of damage a guy is doing. As a matter of fact, the last few years they put the OPS on the board for the fans to see. Thames has a 931 OPS coming into play. That's a call. Strike three. Darvish went back to the fastball. 2 men are out here in the first.
Well, let's check out the Chicago Cubs as they line up defensively. You got Schroeder in left, Happ in center, and Hayward out in right field. Hayward, the Gold Glover, out there. You got Bryant, Baez. Stella gets a start at second base. Classic pinch hitter coming off that bench for the Cubs. He's getting a start today. Caratini in place of Rizzo, and Wilson Contreras, the good throwing catcher, behind home plate.
Here is Ryan Braun with 2 away. There's always a different kind of buzz in the building when Braun steps up to the plate. Guys like Braun and Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo, the kind of players that people pay to see. And it's always the case with Braun, who's had a great career against the Chicago Cubs all these years.
And has done a lot of damage at Wrigley Field.
Braun now in his 12th season. Ryan is at 2 game-winning homers. Had a walk-off home run against the Cardinals here at Miller Park on Tuesday. His other game-winning homer was last Friday, second game of the year in San Diego. There are a lot of superstar hitters as they get into their early 30s, mid 30s that start to navigate around facing some of the best pitchers in the game. I don't want to name names, but it's happened before.
Right.
But Ryan Braun is not one of those guys, at least not yet. He enjoys these matchups against the aces of the major leagues.
You have a couple of names in mind? Is that what you're saying?
I got a few that just popped up in my head.
Oh, not Ryan.
Not Ryan. Not yet.
Will you let me know between innings, maybe?
I got it. Yeah, I'll let you. I'll fill you in. Especially in the Randy Johnson era, the Randy Johnson flu, they called it.
Yeah.
And that's low, ball 4. So Darvish walks Braun. So the 2 superstars in these lineups draw walks in the first inning. Bryant in the top of the first, and now Braun here in the home half.
Man, you never know what you're going to get out of Darvish. I mean, that was either a splitter or a changeup. He's got 3 different fastballs. He shapes his breaking pitch in a lot of different ways. I mean, really, if you think about it, with release points and the way they break, I mean, he's got 6 or 7 pitches that you have to be aware of.
Travis Shaw with 2 away. Shaw's 2-run home run last night gave the Brewers the lead in that 4-run 5th inning. That was his first home run of the season. And this one had some stats on it that were eye-popping. How about the exit velocity of 113.5, 416-foot home run, and it was a frozen rope off the facing of the bleachers of the Loge level in right field.
That is the white hot zone for Travis Shaw, down and in.
That'll be a wild pitch, and on his way to second is Braun. Suddenly the Brewers with a man in scoring position in the first inning.
Contreras could be a busy man back there today while Darvish is in the game. He will spike those breaking pitches. You can see that one not even close, and Contreras not able to shift over.
2-0 on Travis Shaw, and a breaking ball strike on the back door. Shaw didn't like that call. Home plate umpire is Chris Conroy. Inside, ball 3. I would imagine catching you, Darvish, is a difficult task, especially when it's early in the season. Contreras has had all spring training, but that's a relationship that probably bears watching more than most catcher-pitcher relationships. Darvish with his assortment of pitches. Shaw pops it up. Bryant's under it. A roof scraper, and that'll be the inning. And we're off and running at Miller Park on a Saturday afternoon. MLB on FS1 and Fox Sports Wisconsin. No score.
Do not mistake serenity for weakness. Do not misjudge quiet tranquility for the power of 335 turbocharged horses. The Lincoln MKX, more horsepower than the Lexus RX 350, and a quiet interior from which to admire them.
The Lincoln Spring Sales Event is here. For a limited time, get 0% APR on the Lincoln MKX. Hurry in today to your Lincoln dealer.
This next song is all about my $20 fill-up. 8 pieces of Kentucky Fried Chicken, all the fixings, and it'll feed your family of 4. Hit it, boys. A 1 and a 2, and we're out of time. It's finger-licking good. Woo!
The O'Reilly Auto Parts 500 from Texas, tomorrow on FS1.
Great people set your company apart. HR's job is to help those great people do amazing things, which is why you need Namely, the HR platform employees love to use. Namely streamlines benefits, payroll, and time management across the entire company so you can focus on building a better workplace for everyone every day. Schedule a free demo today at namely.com. Namely, HR for humans.
Hello. Let's go for a ride on a Peloton. Let's go grab a couple thousand friends and chase each other up a hill. Let's go make a personal best, then beat it with your personal better than best. Let's go bring the world's best instructors right to you. Better yet, let's go bring the entire New York studio live. Let's go anytime, anywhere, with anyone who's willing. And let's go do it all right here. Ready to go? Peloton.
Back at Miller Park, no score between the Brewers and the Cubs, and Brewers manager Craig Counsell has called upon his bullpen early and often. They have covered 36 2/3 innings so far, 5 1/3 last night. So the Brewers made a move this afternoon. They have acquired J.J. Hoover, selected him from AAA Colorado Springs, and they optioned last night's starter Brandon Woodruff to Colorado to accommodate those moves. They designated for assignment lefty Tyler Webb, and Counsell said this is really about roster flexibility. He said that bullpen has been taxed. They've covered a lot of innings and a lot of long appearances by a number of his relievers. So Hoover is here. He is fresh. He had made one appearance with Colorado on Thursday, and they will need to call somebody up to make the spot for Woodruff's start on Wednesday in St. Louis.
Always great to have a veteran guy that did some closing with the Cincinnati Reds. He's been around a long time. Had a terrific spring, just wasn't able to make the team. He wasn't on the roster. The Brewers had to open up a roster spot for Hoover. He's a fastball, curveball pitcher, and you might see him in there tonight.
Tommy La Stella leads off for Chicago with Davies on the mound after striking out the first 3 of his outs today. 3 Ks and a walk in the first inning for Davies. First start of the season for La Stella. Been a good pinch hitter for the Cubs. Rolls over that one. And out number 1. Yeah, it does need a little explanation when you see all the different verbiage that is used, designated for assignment, outrighted. And that's all because of the roster and who's on the roster. So to make room for Hoover, Tyler Webb had to be taken off the Major League roster.
Yeah, you get 10 days to decide what you're going to do with him. He had something to say about that. Send him down, trade him, or release him. One of the 3 things can happen in 10 days. And if nobody really, wants to pick him up, I guess he's going to stay in AAA. Talking about Tyler Webb.
Tyler Webb was the left-handed pitcher the Brewers acquired from the Yankees last year for Garrett Cooper. Bottom line, though, for Woodruff, who went 3 2/3 last night, he'll go back to AAA. I would imagine he'd make a start there, and you have to be down in the minor leagues 10 days.
Unless there's an injury.
Unless there's an injury to call a player back up. So I think the Brewers are managing individual games and managing the roster as if they are in a pennant race, which they are to start the season, and that's the way you love to see it.
Well, they did a lot of that roster manipulation last year.
Victor Caratini on the ground to second base. 2 quick outs, 2 rollover ground balls. And Davies looks sharp early.
Yeah, the Brewers are going to need that 5th starter on Wednesday in St. Louis. So you're going to see somebody other than Woodruff, obviously, to make that start. Who that is, we do not know.
So the long man, the relief pitcher that can go multiple innings today for Craig Counsell, would be Adrian Hauser,
yeah.
who was built up as a starter in the minor leagues. Adrian arrived to the Brewers yesterday. Zach Davies is hoping we don't have to see Adrian Hauser today. He's hoping to be his own long man. There's a strike to Hayward.
The impressive thing about yesterday's game for Craig Counsell and the Brewers, they only needed 3 relievers to get through that game. 3 2/3 out of Woodruff, Hader for 2, Jeffers for an inning and a third, and Matt Albers finished the game. He pitched 2 innings. Could have been a lot worse for that bullpen.
I'm sure Craig Counsell would love to avoid those 3 after extended outings early in the season last night. But it will be interesting to watch. Hayward sends one into deep right center. Kane has a beat on it. And a 3-up, 3-down inning for Zach Davies. 11 pitches. Santana, VR, Arcia coming up. Brewers at the bat.
In my experience, every successful racer needs a few things. Amazing reflexes, a great team, coordination, and oh yes, this.
When you hear Domino's, you think pizza. But we're more than that. We're mouth-watering bread twists, oven-baked sandwiches, pastas, chicken, and pizza. Just $5.99 each when you order 2 or more. We didn't stop at pizza, and you don't have to either.
Pepsi's always had great taste. Today, try great taste with 0 sugar. This is the Pepsi with 0 compromises. This is Pepsi 0 sugar.
It's okay that everybody ignores me when I drive. It's fine, because I get a safe driving bonus check every 6 months I'm accident-free. And I don't share it with Mom, right, Mom? Right.
Safe driving bonus checks only from Allstate. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Now, TurboTax has CPAs who can review your return with you.
I checked it, ma'am. You're good to go.
See? Nothing to be afraid of at all. Ow. Ow.
Intuit TurboTax.
Hands go here. Feet go here. You know what goes here. And your approval rating goes here. Test drive the Z-Track Z540R at your John Deere dealer today.
When we set out to brew a light beer, there came a moment of truth. When we had to choose more taste or fewer calories. We chose both. What are you holding? Miller Lite. Hold true.
Big crowd on a Saturday afternoon in Milwaukee, Miller Park. Yu Darvish against Zach Davies. Davies with 2 scoreless to start it. And Darvish back to work. Domingo Santana leads off. See that shadow starting to creep out over home plate. It's going to be extremely difficult to hit here in another few minutes. Pitcher's day here at Miller Park.
And sometimes you would think when these shadows start being a factor that it would be a home field advantage. It really is not. Doesn't matter how many times you deal with that. It's still very disruptive. You can't see. Depth perception gets thrown off.
No balls, 2 strikes. And Santana fights it off foul.
Kind of reminds me when I was with the Angels and we played those twilight games, those 4 o'clock starts, you just couldn't see very well. And what we did back in those days, throw a lot of fastballs.
You got stuck with a lot of twilight games, huh?
I did. Big Wheel had the day off.
There's a swing and a miss. Santana strikes out. Well, the National League Central Division changing over. Yu Darvish signing with the Cubs. Arrieta ends up with the Philadelphia Phillies. The St. Louis Cardinals bringing in Marcell Ozuna. That was one of the many trades the Marlins made, including Christian Yelich here to Milwaukee. Pirates traded Andrew McCutchen to the Giants and traded their ace Garrett Cole to Houston. Those were the two that made headlines, though, Rock, this offseason. The acquisition of Yelich from the Marlins and the free agent signing of Lorenzo Cain on the same day in late January. And this Central Division is going to be another hotly contested division, and you figured the Pirates were going to have a tough time playing their way to the top, but they've gotten off to the best start in the division. 6-1 is the Pirates' record to start the year.
And what you get with those two, I mean, everybody knows what you get with them, you know, on the field, but what you get off the field is invaluable. That clubhouse presence, Lorenzo Cain, a terrific leader. Christian Yelich knows how to play the game, and they've already had an impact.
One away for Jonathan Villar, the Brewers' second baseman, the switch hitter. He's had a nice homestand, a couple of hits in this series, and he is 7 for 16 on the homestand. Brewers started this homestand with 3 against the Cardinals. Dropped 2 out of 3 to St. Louis. They split the first 2 games with the Cubs. 2-2 now to VR. Tough to get used to. Yu Darvish in a Cubs uniform. Beat the Cubs in the NLCS last year. Darvish had 2 terrific starts for the Dodgers in the postseason, and the idea was that he'd finally turn the corner in postseason play, but then he got into the World Series and he struggled in the World Series against Houston. Took a loss against the Brewers while a member of the Dodgers last season.
Well, when we talk to scouts about Yu Darvish, I mean, he gets in trouble a lot when he doesn't trust his fastball. Now, here's a guy that throws in the mid-90s. I mean, his cruising speed about 93 to 95. But really, he wants you to chase fastballs out of the zone. Some would say he needs to be more aggressive with the fastball early in the count.
That's a shot back up the middle, but a man is there, Baez, who takes care of VR. 2 gone for Orlando Arcia. He was the star last night. Arcia has just 1 hit in the series, but this was the 1 hit. It was a walk-off last night.
And they had no intention of throwing him a strike. I mean, everything was up and away. You kind of realize that and then dump it into right. Second walk-off on his homestand for Milwaukee.
First career for Arcia. Talented young shortstop. That whole sequence was interesting with Montgomery on the mound. It looked like, with a base open and a left-hander coming up in Sogard, it looked like Montgomery was trying to pitch around Arcia. And even the pitch he hit into right field was clearly a ball. It was almost into the left-handed hitter's batter's box.
Yeah, not even close.
Arcia had other thoughts in mind. He was up there hacking.
I think Joe Madden feeling as though he had his veteran left-hander out there. He's figuring he's got a young player, might be over-aggressive, and maybe swing out of the zone, which he did. It kind of backfired on Madden. They probably should have walked him.
Then you would have had the matchup, lefty against lefty. Would have put the bases loaded, and you could understand Joe Madden's hesitance to load the bases with Montgomery, who's had control problems. So I guess in the manager's mind, you load the bases. Now you're putting the pressure on your pitcher. But the Cubs gave it back last night. Brewers were able to come back from a early 2-0 deficit to win the game. 2-1, and Arcia fouls it back. 2-2 now.
Well, we also said on our open that the Brewers had 4 walk-off wins last year here at Miller Park. 2 of them wild pitches. One of them coming from Montgomery.
That's right.
Against Milwaukee. So maybe that was another concern.
And it didn't all belong to Montgomery yesterday. Remember, Chris Bryant had a costly error on a slow roll to third. He threw one away, which set up the dramatics for Arcia. Put a runner at third base in the first place. Chicago won the opener of this series 8-0. Brewers facing a tough run of pitchers. Carlos Martinez Wednesday, John Lester, and now Darvish. Arcia flies to center, and that'll retire the side. 2 scoreless innings apiece for the starting pitchers today. We go to the third, bottom of the order coming up.
Vengeful vermin. Seen it, covered it. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
When you brew a beer with this much taste, 96 calories seems like a typo. But it's no mistake. It's a small miracle. What are you holding? Miller Lite. Hold true.
Here's the thing about this game. It doesn't matter who you are, how big or how small. It doesn't matter where you live or where you come from. It's everyone's game. If you want to play, you can play. Your team's waiting at playball.org.
If you mentor me.
You are there for me.
I will miss fewer days of school.
If you mentor me. If you listen. If you mentor me.
I'll be 55% more likely to go to college.
If you mentor me. If you mentor me. I'll be more likely to volunteer in my community. Mentor.
If you mentor me.
I'll be 81% more likely to play sports.
I will be empowered.
I'll have a more equal chance to realize my dream.
I will have healthier relationships.
If you mentor me. One day, I'll become a mentor too. Become a mentor in real life.
Great people set your company apart. HR's job is to help those great people do amazing things, which is why you need Namely, the HR platform employees love to use. Namely streamlines benefits, payroll, and time management across the entire company so you can focus on building a better workplace for everyone every day. Schedule a free demo today at namely.com. Namely, HR for humans.
Scoreless at Miller Park, and we remind you the MLB @Bat mobile app brings every baseball moment to your favorite devices. Catch it all season long. Free MLB TV game of the day, live radio broadcast, in-game highlights and stats. Download MLB @Bat today, your #1 app for live baseball. Zach Davies back on the mound, facing Javi Baez to start the third inning. Scoreless game here at Miller Park. Brewers and Cubs for game 3 of the series. Final game of the series tomorrow. And then the Cubs will get back to Wrigley and the friendly confines for their home opener. While the Brewers are headed to St. Louis for a 3-game series with the Cardinals. Davies struck out 3 in the first inning. Had a 3-up, 3-down second with 2 ground ball outs. Huge wave and a miss by Baez.
It took a lot off that curveball. 74 miles an hour that time. Takes a mighty hack, does Javier Baez, and that's a gravity ball right there.
Another one. Baez in the air to center. Kane in front of the track will make the catch. One gone. Well, Zach Davies, we mentioned the 7 quality starts against the Chicago Cubs. Break it down into his last 4. And Rock, he's been about as good as anybody the Brewers have on the mound against Chicago.
Yeah, he really does. When he has the good command, he's not afraid to come inside, keeps them off balance. All 4 pitches working for him extremely well. You can see the whip. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, a base runner an inning, just about against a heavy-hitting Cubs lineup. Just certain guys seem to have good success against certain teams. His career earned run average against the Cubs in 10 starts, 390, not bad.
Swing and a miss by Darvish. The Cubs pitcher at the plate, not his strong suit. Spending most of his career in the American League. And the league he played in Japan.
Can't let down, though. He's a big guy, 6'5". Remember last time we saw him? Saw a guy that size against Davies. He hit one out. Michaelis, right?
Miles Michaelis.
Got to make your pitches no matter who's up there.
And a called strike 3 and an about face for Darvish. 4th strikeout for Davies. And 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Back to the top of the order for the Cubs. Ian Happ, who is back in that leadoff spot. Happ hit the first pitch of the season, of the entire Major League season, out for a home run. Cubs were playing at Miami, very first game of 2018, 2 Thursdays ago. But it's been a downhill slide since for Ian Happ. He has just 4 hits and a ton of strikeouts. So Happ is now 4 for 24 on the season. And in those 24 at-bats, he has struck out 15 times. Which is why the door continues to be a revolving door in the leadoff spot for Joe Madden. That Ben Zobrist hit leadoff.
Yeah, got to figure out a way to get men on in front of Brian and Rizzo, right? When those 2 are in the lineup together.
Zobrist getting the day off today. Started the first 2 games of this series. Davies struck him out in the first inning. And he got him again. 2 Ks for Davies. He's got 5, 3 scoreless innings.
Let me tell you a story about a beer rooted in the heart of America.
Raised by generations, willing to sip, share, risk, remember.
This is a story bigger than beer. This is the story of beer country.
Almost there.
She's coming. My video call's lagging. Mom.
Hold up. We got a laggy video call here. You need Verizon, the best network for streaming. Here, trade you. Okay, people, that's a reset.
You want us to surprise her again?
Yeah, but like in a fun way, like this. Oh, my favorite friends are here. There's Tony and Diane. Like something like that.
Get up to 50% off our best phones, like the Samsung Galaxy S9 and the Google Pixel 2, because unlimited is only as good as the network it's on.
Hi, kids. I'm Carl, and I'm a broker.
Do you offer $4.95 online equity trades?
Great question. See, for a full-service brokerage like ours, that's tough to do.
Schwab does it.
Next question.
Do you offer a satisfaction guarantee?
The what now?
A satisfaction guarantee, like Schwab does.
What are you teaching these kids?
Ask your broker if they offer award-winning full service and low costs backed by a satisfaction guarantee. If you don't like their answer, ask again at Schwab.
Evacuations are underway as a meteor heads toward the metro area.
Go, 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 go!
We gotta go.
Juicer! We don't have a juicer!
The Volkswagen Tiguan. It fits everything you need and everything you don't.
Major League Baseball on Fox Sports is brought to you by Hupy and Abraham. Voted best, rated best. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. By Miller Lite. Great taste and only 96 calories. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Great scene inside Miller Park. Packed house. Roof is all closed up on a chilly afternoon here. And a good pitching matchup thus far. Yu Darvish and Zach Davies. Davies is through 3 scoreless. Has 5 strikeouts. Jed Bandy leads off for Milwaukee here in the bottom of the 3rd. It'll be Bandy, the pitcher Davies, and then to the top of the order Lorenzo Cain.
See, Darvish so far in this game using the fastball much more. A lot of times he will try and establish off speed early, but the fastball has been a good pitch for him so far.
He's been one of the premier strikeouts since he came into the league in 12. Matter of fact, has the most strikeouts per 9 innings since he entered the major leagues. Over 11 strikeouts per 9. Those are numbers you see from the power closers, not a every 5th day starting pitcher.
Had 209 punch outs last year.
Darvish had Tommy John surgery in 2015, or cost him all of the 15 season and the early part of the 2016 season. So last year was really his healthy year, the comeback year after Tommy John surgery, the 2nd year back. That ball's hit well. Jed Bandy sends one deep into center, and there to run it down is Hack. Hit it like a bullet, but Happ able to fetch it for the first out of the inning.
Doesn't seem like the ball's carrying very well today. There's been a couple of hard hit balls tonight or this afternoon that really haven't carried like you would expect them to carry.
Two home run hitting lineups, the Brewers and the Cubs. Zach Davies at the plate.
Big debate when the ball carries the best, right? Closed up, everything closed up, the roof and the glass panels, or everything opened up. But I guess when everything's opened up, the weather's nice, right? It's warm.
Nice and warm. I think the ball certainly travels better when it's warmer out, but when everything's open, there is a little bit of a wind current that comes through here. Seems like the prevailing summer winds come through the left field panels by that yellow slide and then kind of hit the grandstand and shoot out to right center. Those panels there, they look like windows. They slide open, giant panels that open up, and that's why we call this the most functional ballpark in the world. You can have it every way. You can have it open, all open up, or seal it up tight and be comfortable here in Miller Park. No rainouts, no delays.
And you don't freeze to death.
2-1 to Davies. 2-2 now. You really appreciate the roof this time of year when you look around baseball, major leagues and minor leagues, and see how many games are being postponed, and it's going to stack up a ton of doubleheaders. Don't have that problem here in Milwaukee. There's a called strike 3. Davies is rung up. Second, make it the 3rd strikeout for Darvish. And he's got 2 away here in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, Zach walking back thinking, how can you throw me that curveball? I can't hit that. That's a good pitch by Darvish. He's got them all, and he's going to throw them all. Very unpredictable, and that's what every pitcher wants to be.
He'll face Lorenzo Cain now. Kane lined out to right in the first inning. Did get a hit last night that broke a long slump at the plate. He was 0 for 16 before he doubled down the left field line last night. Got off to a very fast start for the Brewers. Has 10 hits on the season. And this the 9th game of the year. Chopper to short. Baez with a strong arm for the final out. 3 up and 3 down. Scoreless game at Miller Park. Cubs and Brewers. Cubs coming to bat. Chris Bryant will lead off.
You're a brave man, Mr. Stevens. Your testimony will save lives. Mr. Stevens, this is your new name. This is your new house and a perfectly inconspicuous SUV. You must become invisible.
I'll take my chances.
It's time for Scott's MLB Pitch Hit and Run, the official youth skills competition of Major League Baseball. Sign up today and play your way to the National Finals, and you'll get the chance to compete during the 2018 All-Star Week in Washington, D.C. Sign up for free at pitchhitrun.com.
Great people set your company apart. HR's job is to help those great people do amazing things, which is why your company needs Namely, the HR platform employees love to use. Mike clocks in, James does his onboarding, and Fran enrolls in benefits. Namely streamlines HR for them and for you, bringing payroll, benefits, and time management together. HR data is synced automatically, and compliance is totally taken care of. Namely also helps turn data into decisions with smart reporting and keeps everyone connected. Kat hits a goal. Ray welcomes James. Sam likes that. And so do you. Because thanks to Namely, you can focus on what matters most, building a better workplace for everyone, every day. Schedule a free demo today at namely.com. Namely, HR for humans.
No score. We go to the top of the 4th inning. Chris Bryant will lead off for the Cubs. 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup for Joe Madden coming up. Bryant, Schroeder, Contreras. No Rizzo in the lineup today if you're just joining us. Lower back tightness. Missing his 2nd consecutive game. Bryant walked in the first. Each pitcher has allowed a base runner. Bryant with the walk in the first inning with 1 away, and then Ryan Braun drew a walk in the Brewers first with 2 away. That's been it offensively. Davies with 5 strikeouts in his first 3 innings. His career high for strikeouts is 9. Something to watch. Slow roller. Shift was on. Arcia bobbles. Can't make the play. Bryant runs extremely well, and it might have been bang bang anyway, but Bryant will reach. Put a lot of pressure on the defense that time.
Yeah, don't be surprised if that's not ruled a base hit. That's good 2-seamer. Bryant over the top of it, and he runs about as well as anybody for a guy his size. And I think Arcia was thinking about maybe a bare hand play, went with the glove and just couldn't get the handle on it.
Always puts pressure on that official score, right? Seems like that unwritten rule that the first hit of a game has to be a clean one.
Yep. You can always give him an error and then go back and give him a hit later. You can't do it the other way around.
They are going to score this as an infield hit. So the first hit of the game is off the bat of Bryant. He's reached twice. And now Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber has found the strikeout bug himself. Struck out in the first inning. Schwarber was a key strikeout victim in the 9th last night to end the inning. Matt Albers was able to quiet down a threat.
Yeah, Schroeder has struck out in each of his last 5 plate appearances.
Yeah, walked his first time up yesterday, and then 4 Ks his next 4 trips, and then Davies punched him out in the first. First 5 games of the year, Cubs set a record for strikeouts. One caveat to that was they played a 17-inning game once, so they essentially played an extra game. But 58 Ks in the first 5 games of the season for the Cubs. Schwarber hits that hard. Center field. Kane is over, and he's got it. Had to basket catch that thing.
Yeah, I think he had some knuckle action on it going out to center field. Schwarber centered on that one nicely. It was a curveball that stayed up. You can see the look on Lorenzo Cain's face, and I'm glad I grabbed that one. That was knuckling out there.
Cain is an excellent center fielder, and he fought hard to stay on that bucking Bronco.
2 hands it.
So the first out of the inning, Schwarber lines out. Here is Contreras now.
Oh, this guy's really turned himself into a good hitter last couple of years. Boy, squares him up, hits the ball to all fields.
Second consecutive year he's been the primary starter for the Cubs. Shared those duties 2 years ago. Played a lot of outfield though when he first came up with Chicago. Hitting cleanup today, Contreras. Davies struck him out looking in the first. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Bandy's throw, the tag. He is out. Bang, bang play.
Yeah, got to believe the Cubs are going to take a look at that. Brian thinks he's safe.
It was not an easy pitch in which to throw, and Bandy put it right on the bag with a strong arm. That's going to be close.
Yeah, it is going to be close. Yep, I'm not sure there's enough. We'll see, but I'll tell you, VR did a good job. You see where he stood. He straddled the bag as opposed to getting in front of the bag and reaching back.
Well, the ruling on the field is out, and I think it's too close to call at this point of the game, so Joe Madden will not challenge this. And Jet Bandy cuts down Chris Bryant for the second out.
Boy, everybody did their job there. Zach Davies, Bandy with a good throw, and a good job by VR to be patient, straddle the bag, and just drop the tag.
So 2-minute out. No balls and a strike on Contreras, make it 0-2. Davies has a lot of life and movement on that fastball. We got him on an outside corner fastball in the first inning. Going out there again, and did he go? He did. It's a strikeout for Davies. That inning turned quickly after a leadoff infield hit. Ryan Braun, he'll hit when we get to the fourth. Thames will start it. No score.
Do your thing. Fulfill. Realize. Love. Not like. Be extraordinary. Turn off the highway and soar. Spread your wings. Mazda. Feel alive.
Euro. Arby's, we have the meats.
You spray, you trip. You're gold. Smell fresh all day with new Axe Gold Body Spray.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when I was too busy with the kids to get a repair estimate. I just snapped a photo and got an estimate in 24 hours.
My insurance company definitely doesn't have that.
You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Are you ready for more live games?
Are you ready for live look-ins?
It's time to go inside the park.
Are you ready for breakdowns of all the big plays?
Got to work on the RBI situation.
Are you ready for TV's best baseball analysts?
This guy's been the hottest pitcher in baseball.
MLB Tonight, every night on MLB Network.
Still no score as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. A reminder that coming this summer, the World Cup coming to Fox and FS1. Every match will be live, and over 300 hours of coverage are slated. The world's biggest sporting event begins June 14th on Fox and FS1.
You're a big soccer guy now, aren't you?
I am now, after a trip to Liverpool
Who do you got
this winter.
Who do you got?
That was incredible. I'm not versed enough to make a pick. I did see Ronaldo. He had the bicycle kick.
Yeah.
He scored a goal the other day.
I saw that on the news, yeah.
Was that on the local news?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Somewhere. I don't know.
I'm all in, man.
Maybe on one of those networks we're not allowed to mention.
Eric Dames leads off for the Brewers. Liverpool, you'll be happy to know, played today. Got to get up early to watch these games.
Did you go?
0-0.
Exciting, huh?
That's Everton. That's my new team.
On the edge of your seat?
It is, man.
No, I know. I like soccer.
I was down on soccer for years until I went over there and experienced it. It's an event. It was amazing.
It's an event.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And they were fascinated. We had a chance to talk to some of the guys that work, in the front office and then down with what we would call baseball operations. I don't think they call it football operations, but they were interested to know about baseball and the analytics and how they game plan. And it was a great trip.
So you went over there with a big wig, huh? Is that what you're saying?
I did. Teddy Werner is the big wig in that picture. I didn't just plop in and buy a ticket.
Had to
you know
know
what I mean?
somebody, right?
Yeah, we want to get the experience together.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known
I get it.
what to do in the first place. Yu Darvish deals to Thames. It's low. Thames with a couple of home runs on the year. Darvish struck him out looking in the first inning. These two pitchers are on top of their game to start here today. 2-2 outside. Only base runner for the Brewers was a Ryan Braun walk in the first. Darvish with 3 strikeouts. Thames in the air to right, way back, and there she goes. Eric Thames, solo home run, and the Brewers strike first this afternoon. Speaking of locked in, Eric Thames has that power stroke right where he wants it to start the year.
All about the timing for Thames. Yeah, watch the hips for Thames. It's a 3-2 breaking pitch. He pops those hips open, and the barrel of the bat follows through and knocks it way back to second deck and right.
3rd home run of the year for Thames, all coming on this homestand. Hit 31 last season for the Brewers in his first year after 3 years in Korea. 3 stellar seasons in Korea where he was an MVP.
He likes April, doesn't he?
Yeah, does he ever. Hit 11 home runs in April last season.
He does.
First hit of the game for the Brewers is a long ball. It's 1-0 Milwaukee. And Braun takes a slider strike.
And one of the few mistakes that Darvish has made with a breaking pitch. And Thames knocked it out of here.
Oh, 2 to Braun. And down he goes. Darvish backs it up with a strikeout. That's his 4th. The Powerball home run leaderboard needs updating. Eric Thames is the club leader. All 3 of those home runs coming on this homestand. And he has homered in back-to-back games. One away for Travis Shaw. Shaw homering last night as well. 2 left-handed batters, Thames and Shaw. 2 very different swings, though. Shaw more fluid, more of that traditional left-handed power stroke.
And more the triggering mechanism for Shaw. You see he lifts that leg up, kind of leans back a little bit, bounces on that back leg, where with Shaw you don't get a lot of movement. Maybe just picks the heel of the front foot up, and then it's all hips and torque. With Shaw, he keeps the bat in the hitting zone a long time with the way he swings. Thames, it gets in and out of the hitting zone very quickly. That's why timing is of the essence for Thames. And when he doesn't have it, that's when he goes into those stretches where he doesn't get hits.
Shaw was a doubles machine last year. Led the club in homers and doubles last season. He had 34 doubles to go along with his 31 home runs. And Darvish with that fastball down. 2-2 the count. Shaw feels like he has effortless power. Thames, you can see the torque in his swing. And Darvish blows him away. Let's take a look at that swing of Eric Thames. Rock, you did a little breakdown earlier today. What do you see?
Yeah, just watch the hips. Watch the hips pop open, and that's how he gets his power through the strike zone. There are times when he kind of pops those hips open a little bit too soon. It becomes very vulnerable to pitches away. But when it's right, it is right. He can hit him as far as anybody. And when the belt buckle faces the pitcher at the point of contact, you know you've got good extension.
Some violence in that swing by Eric Thames. Two gone for Santana. Domingo was a strikeout victim his last time up. That ball's hit hard through, base hit. Santana with a single, finding the hole between third and short. He's come out of the blocks hitting again this year.
Well, he seems to be able to come up with one, and he's able to get that fastball that was in on him and muscle it into left. Got quick hands, Domingo Santana.
Santana led the Brewers in batting average last year, high 280s. Had a career year last year, including 30 homers a season ago. Thames, Shaw, and Santana all with 30 homer seasons last year. Jonathan VR with 2 away. VR hit the ball sharply in the second inning. He ripped one back up the middle, right through the legs of Darvish, but a bit of a shift on defensively for the Cubs, and Baez was right there near the bag to make the play for the out. And VR in the air on a curve. And that's going to stay in as Happ will put it away. Inning is over, but the Brewers get a couple of hits and they strike first. The powerful swing of Eric Thames. third home run of the year, and it gives Milwaukee a 1-0 lead.
As people who love the outdoors, we know what we stand for. We stand for fish, wildlife, and conserving the places they call home. We stand for the traditions we inherited and that we must pass on. We stand for great gear, fair prices, expert service, and memorable experiences. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we stand together for you. Come in today for huge savings and our Dog Days family event with free photos, demos, and giveaways.
I'm all about my bed.
This mattress is dangerously comfortable.
When I get in, I literally say, ah.
Introducing the Lisa mattress. A better place to sleep.
This bed hugs my body.
I'm now a morning person.
The Lisa mattress is designed to provide strong support, relieve pressure, and optimize airflow to keep you cool.
Hello, bed of my dreams.
Order online. We'll build it, box it, and ship it to your door for you to enjoy. Sleep on it for up to 100 nights and love it, or you'll get a full refund. Returns are free and easy.
I love my Lisa.
Today is gonna be great.
Read our reviews, then try the Lisa mattress in your own home. Order now and get $125 off, plus a free pillow worth $75, and free shipping too. Go to buylisa.com today.
You need this bed.